Got to be a little eerie.
Yeah, I would like to take a trip out to Washington, though. I mean, new Big Ten team. It would be a fun road trip destination. I feel like
if you got those frequent, they call it or whatever it is. Yeah, it looks awesome.
Got those frequent flyer miles. Go out there, go see a game. I think the sailgating sold out in minutes.
Oh, they sell that. They sell the water out.
Yeah, I think they do. Right? That's private land, right? The water.
Yeah, and you can't park here.
Can you think of a more cool experience though than sailgating on a boat?
I mean, that sounds awesome until you fall in the water and you got to go to the game.
Which would happen to me.
That would happen to a lot of people.
I think it would.
I'm sure.
I think it would. So if you're going out there this weekend, have a great time. Be safe. Don't fall in the water. If you do, let Jay-Z and I know.
Send us pictures.
Yeah, how it's going for you. Let's hear from Ryan Day, shall we? This is his press conference this week. What about preparing a first-year quarterback in Julian Sayin for his first road environment?
Just making no assumptions when you're on the road, all the little things, and recognizing that, it's going to be a challenging environment. It's just almost like going back to the beginning, going back to basics, because anytime you go on the road, just everything's a little bit more difficult. The communication's more difficult, all of those things. So it's not anything new, but at the same time, we have to, amidst the environment and the noise and the chaos, have poise and composure. And, we can't let the environment dictate how we play.
I know it's a big deal, and we've been talking about it all week. Austin and I were talking about it last night, and I'm confident that we'll talk about it coming up here tomorrow. But when you take your offense, Jay-Z, from a home environment, right? Mm-hmm. Texas was incredible. Like, we know the environment was loud. It was crazy. Going to be one of the best teams that you face, especially that defense. Yep. And Ryan Day said it after the game. Like, we probably could have given him a little bit more. And I think we've seen that in the subsequent games, 2 and 3 against Grambling and OU. When you take this offense on the road to a place where a team has won 22 straight home games, a place that is loud, it's not the biggest capacity you're going to see. Mm-hmm. Same thing as Oregon, as we saw last year. Freshman quarterback, redshirt freshman, first-year starter. How big of a deal is that to be able to control your emotions and control everything that you're doing and make sure that everything goes according to plan?
Well, it's tough to control everything, right? But
that's what we expect, right?
Yeah, well, it is what we expect, and that's what we've kind of seen out of him in these first 3 games. Just kind of staying cool, staying calm, looking at the defense, giving them what they, taking what they give you. When you go on a road like this for the first time, and even at the end of the year, say it's the second time, you're going to a big game, you're going to the whiteout, like, it's a different ball game than what you're used to. At home, something I was thinking about over the weekend was they have speakers in their helmets. What is that like? Because when it was loud back in our day,
that's a lot of ear.
When it was loud back in our day, it was all hand signals. So it didn't matter how loud it was. I'm just watching the sideline and seeing everything. So it's like, how does that work? What is the snap count going to be like? There are a lot of shotgun now. We didn't do a lot of shotgun back in my day. So it's like you were up under. You're there. They could hear you a little bit better. What do those games look like? Because how, a shotgun will go in 1 second, the center's head goes up, and then all of a sudden, defensive end's teeing off because they just get in that rhythm. So what are they doing in these last couple of weeks to maybe throw that off a little bit, to give them a little bit, give the defense a little bit different of a look every other snap, just so they're not teeing off on you? There's just a lot that goes into it. But, again, this isn't the best defense they're going to see all year.
Right.
They should be able to go out and, you may see a couple false starts. I think we saw that at Texas a little bit. There are a couple times offensive linemen, they like to get their jump, and that might happen.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But we may run into some of that. But really, it's just making sure that Julian has, the voice to get it to these guys. I remember in games,
which I think Ryan Day issued the challenge during camp.
I think so. And so it's something that they've been dealing with and talking about, all through camp and everything, I'm sure. But, it's like just little things of, all right, well, they can't hear me. All right, well, you got to go up and down the line. Get up, get set. We got to make sure we have enough time on the clock. You got to let each and every one of them, if you're making a change, guy by guy, let them know what's going on, and, and get in their ear. And, it's just little things like that of just staying within yourself, making sure there's plenty of time on the play clock, getting up to the line of scrimmage, getting the calls in, and just making sure everybody's on the same page before you take that snap. And with that noise, it is hard, but you just got to, work a little harder to make sure everybody's seeing it and, on the same page as the quarterback.
How are you communicating with your receivers, though? I mean, they're way out, split wide, right? I mean, JJ is going to be way out there. We know that. Brandon Ennis is going to be out there as well. Like, how are you? I know that you're talking about controlling the line of scrimmage and making sure that you're getting your calls to the offensive line, that they know that they're going to be okay. Yeah. But getting that same page on the communication level as the wide receivers, like how are you communicating with them when noise is a factor? Like that?
I mean, we used to use a lot of hand signals. Had a lot of hand signals. We would sit around and have meetings.
Route.
Well, we'd sit around and have a lot of meetings with just the quarterbacks. Be like, all right, what do we want to make this signal? And it would just be some stupid things every now and then. But just kind of made it fun.
I got to go back and watch the tape.
Well, there's some stuff on there. You might see some. If Tress would have known what we were doing, he probably wouldn't have let us have some of them. But use a lot of hand signals, and these guys have gotten so good at looking at the sideline. And even though you have a headset to the quarterback, there's probably still somebody over on the sideline who might be giving a signal to the receivers or to a certain position group of, this is what it is, just in case you didn't hear the play very well. Like, this is what you have on this play. And, when Julian's up at the line of scrimmage, he sees something, it could be just a look, or it could be just I'm going to tug on my towel. It could be
whatever it is,
a little sign that maybe nobody's going to catch on to, but, his receiver knows what he's talking about, and they're on the same page.
Absolutely. What about Ryan Day going on the road last year, comparing this game to what Oregon and what they learned from that one last year?
It wasn't really anything about the trip. I thought we were ready and we were playing fast. I don't think there was anything sports science-wise that says us leaving the day before had any effect in the game. But that being said, we did a lot of, because I think it's more about, are you focused? Are you locked in? Are you sluggish? You look at all these different metrics. Didn't see any of that. But that being said, we always want to get better. And, we've done a lot of studying on this. We've talked to a lot of people in the NFL. We've talked to different other, sports and how they travel multiple time zones. And we felt like this is the best way. We also really looked at how we played in the playoffs as an indicator on this. And so, like we said, we always learn. So we're always trying to get better.
I think it's a pretty well-traveled team, right? I think you look at last year and what they did.
Oh, golly, in the playoffs.
Playing at home and then going out to Pasadena and then going down to Dallas and then Atlanta. If there's one team in college football where I'm not too worried about the travel aspect, it's this team because they are well-traveled.
Yeah, and they are, but a lot of these guys weren't playing last year.
True.
So, I mean, it's a little bit different of a ball game because you don't have the seniors that have been around and been through a lot of this, type thing. So that's a little bit different, but, it's hard. You're going to go out. It's a long flight, all that good stuff that goes into it. They're a great crowd. I mean, I think Big Ten teams from the East Coast Central Time Zone are what? 3 and I don't know if this is correct, but it's 3 and 13.
Yeah.
3 and 13 going out west.
Wow.
So I mean, there's something to it, but what teams were they, and all that sort of thing. And we were one of those because we got beat by Oregon by a point.
Did they count the Rose Bowl?
I don't think they were counting. I think it was just regular season games, that sort of thing. So yes, but there's got to be something to it, but. Just listening to them, like they study everything and they just want to try and get better all the time. And, this is just going to be one of those things like, hey, we did this when we went to Washington. It worked really well. Guys seemed to be ready to go. They were juiced up and didn't seem sluggish. And, all that stuff Ryan just talked about. That's really the only way you can really tell, when you get into a game and you finally see your guys go after it.
Our great friend and former Buckeye, Joshua Perry, he's going to join us. We'll talk all things college football and some Buckeyes with him coming up here in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
This is